What's up, everybody? MegaBuzzBuzz here, buzzing at you with another episode of The Buzz. Today, we are focusing on Altaria. We have that cheap coffee and cotton balls theme going on here. Here's Altaria. So, I'm going to go over two specific builds with you today, both of which focus on the mega evolution of Altaria. The third slot here is kind of a fill your own. I'm going to go in with some of its utilities. I have an Altaria like moveset here. We can go through some utility stuff. That definitely sounds really good. So first things first, our first Altaria set provided to me by Ian Lutz VGC. He's been a really big help with this particular build and with a lot of my builds in the past. This man, he sat and did a lot of calcs. We did a lot of calcs together, and we came up with this particular build. You see that it is a mixed attacker with return and hyper voice. Fire Blast, Protect. You're gonna see the same set on the other one, but we'll get to Justice in a minute. You see here that we're rash natured. We don't want to take away from that attack. That return does a lot of damage, picking up Okos on Terrakion, I believe. And Terrakion's a big thing in VGC. We did a lot of these sets for VGC stuff, just so you could have a little bit of VGC viability with Mega Altaria. So, looking at its moveset, you know, you got Return Hyper Voice, which does give you dual Fairy Stab in your Mega form, but it gives you the option of either doing spread damage or single target physical. Or you could even just, you know, opt for just straight special. Fire Blast, there for Bisharp, specifically Bisharp. Now, Bisharp, everyone in VGC knows Bisharp. You know it as the Defiant, the Intimidate counter, that Pokemon that has Iron Head that destroys all fairies, and it really did. It destroyed Altaria immensely. Now, with this minimalistic investment of 4 in HP and 60 in the defense, you guarantee to live at least 1 Iron Head, which is all you need. That's great. That's excellent. Just in case you missed that Fire Blast. Now, this 180 in speed is where it really kicks in. This 180 in speed allows you, see, it's at level 100, so you're not going to actually be able to tell. Let me drop that down to 50 so you can get a more accurate spread. You see that 123 stat right there? 123 outspeeds a Adamant Bisharp. Adamant Bisharp outsped by 1 point. Adamant Bisharp caps out at 122, you're 123. You will go first with that Fire Blast every time. You miss, you can survive 1. You get 1 Iron Head. You miss twice, well, you're SOL. Hopefully your partner can pick up the slack. This 252 in special attack, you really didn't need it. Well, it's there for extra damage on that Hyper Voice. I think actually to ensure the KO, you need about that 76 range that you'll see on your screen right now. That 76 plus, I think it might be a little less, to ensure the Oko onto Bisharp. So we're going to bring it back up to 252. But you see that 252 there, again, for the Hyper Voice. Return, you're not investing too much into attack. A good 12 points will do. Return still just does a lot of damage. I mean, that's a base 102 at max happiness that gets an 80% bonus through Pixelate and Stab. Ridiculously powerful. Ridiculous. Moving on to Justice, which we named after a stand from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. That was the theme of the team. This Altaria, I actually prefer it a lot more, mainly because we kind of ripped the defensive set from this and kind of allowed ourselves to play a little more with speed, giving it that massive, that 252, that full HP investment, and a little bit more in defense. I went for the relaxed natured because the Fire Blast here, alright, so the 76 might have not been lowered now that I see this, but the 76, but the 180 here still ensures the Oko for the Fire Blast onto Bisharp, which is excellent. And my 252 and 68 still allow me to live at least 1 Iron Head. That's awesome. This is for a Trick Room set. You can tell by the minimum speed of a minus nature and a 0 in that IV stat. I found that the Trick Room kind of did a little more justice for Mega Altaria because you are seeing your base 80 in speed. Even in your Mega form, that doesn't change at all. So, I mean, Trick Room's pretty cool for it. Trick Room's great for it, but it also gets Tailwind, I believe. So, well, we'll look at that in a minute, but it also gets Tailwind, so you could kind of go either or when the whole speed tier thing comes in. So, you know, the moveset's exactly the same. We got that Return, Hyper Voice, Protect, Fire Blast. Not a whole lot of variety in the moveset. We kind of just played it by ear, especially with what was big in VGC and what it needed to KO on the team. Honestly, Mega Altaria, in the experience I've had with battles, which I could probably get some up maybe later today, hopefully tomorrow or some other day, but it's not a standalone Pokemon. It definitely needs its support. Otherwise, it's just not doing a whole lot for you. It's not a Pokemon that's actually going to carry your team through a whole lot, though it can. And we've had this particular Altaria kind of sweep through teams with this Hyper Voice, this scary Hyper Voice, and that was actually kind of funny. Moving on to Base Altaria. Base Altaria can have an abundance of items. You could Citrus Berry it for that quick heal, lower the 50%. You could Leftovers it. You could Assault Vest it. I mean, I've heard of some builds with Assault Vest Altaria. Now, everyone knows what Assault Vest does. You can only use your attacking moves. You kind of get rid of your status. Altaria has a lot of status moves that could really take advantage of. Moving up to its level up, you see Dragon Dance right there at that level 30. You see Dragon Dance. Dragon Dance is huge. Huge, especially on like Salamon's builds and stuff like that. Altaria getting it, that's great. +1 to attack and speed, you're outspeeding a lot, you're blowing people up with return, just hope you don't get burned. Dragon Dance is typically used, especially in the Mega set, just in case you wanted to get that extra damage. In VGC, setting up is really hard. This will probably be a better set to go off in singles, or maybe a 6v6 doubles match. Cotton Guard, that's the same thing we're looking at. VGC, it's pretty difficult to set up unless you kind of, predict that. But Cotton Guard, definitely a move I would not pass up on Altaria. That +3 to defense, absolutely outstanding. Looking into its TM move pool, it gets a lot of kind of neat stuff. It gets Solar Beam if you kind of want to go that route. Earthquake for definitely those physical sets. Ice Beam if you want to get rid of those groundies. If you kind of wanted to have a little grudge match against Garchomp. Flamethrower, Fire Blast. Honestly, I opt for Fire Blast more on Altaria, just because Flamethrower doesn't pick up as many KOs as I had liked. Bulldoze, if you're feeling weird and want to get that guaranteed speed drop, you want to play some speed games. Dazzling Gleam, if you're something. I would still use Hyper Voice over Dazzling Gleam. Definitely maybe an XY before Hyper Voice thing. I don't know, maybe you got into Hyper Voice and XY, don't even know. But Dazzling Gleam's there if you want it. Feather Dance, really good move, puts the -2 on your opponent for their attack. Really powerful move. Roost, always a necessity if you want those tanky Pokemon. Here's here's other moves such as Agility if you want to put on that. Dragon Rush, a very powerful move indeed. The only downside to Dragon Rush is you see that 75 stat, that 75 accuracy, kind of meh. Draco Meteor, big clutch. Sorry for that whole blue screen thing, but Draco Meteor, big clutch move. Everyone loves Draco Meteors. Heal Bell's great. Heals your entire party of status problems. Heat Wave for just more spread damage. There he is. There's that Tailwind that I was talking about earlier. I really hoped it gotten it, and it does. Tailwind. So there's also some calc stuff that I was probably playing around with. But Altaria does really good in differing speed tiers, depending on how you build that speed. Either you want to do Tailwind or you want to do Trick Room. That base 80 is kind of a perfect spot for it to be, just to kind of do an either-or, but you definitely don't want to run it without one of those two things. Otherwise, Altaria is going to be left in the dust by every other Pokemon, and then can probably pay the price for it with either a significant chunk of health missing or a drastic OHKO that can just kind of flop your whole strat. I mean, that's a lot with Altaria. Definitely, this build right here, like I said, I was just going to go over some of the utility. Altaria has a huge utility move pool that you can play around with, and kind of a fairly decent attacking move pool that you can totally do some different things with if you'd like. But definitely play around with Altaria's utility. Altaria has that utility to use it, The only other Fairy Mega that I feel that kind of outclasses Altaria in terms of utility is Audino, but if you opt for Mega Altaria, you definitely don't want to use it for just straight utility. You don't want to waste that Pixelate ability. Natural Cure, really good ability. If you're playing in singles, set up. Well, you can't really set up and switch out at the same time. But if you want to switch out your Altaria onto like something like a Toxic that you see that's coming, and you just switch it right back out, boom, Toxic gone, woohoo! Or if you want to do a bulky rest set with Altaria, Natural Cure, rest up, switch out that next turn, sleep's gone, bam! Crazy. Hydration Vaporeon sees a lot of play, or sees some kind of looks just for hydration rest strategies. But Natural Cure is definitely another way to go if you're a singles kind of player, or even in rotation, maybe in doubles, triples if you're feeling kind of ballsy and want to switch out. Cloud9 though, Cloud9 I feel that it's better ability, especially for the long-term play, especially if you want to get rid of that weather effects, those pesky weather effects, those one-turn solar beams, those chlorophylls, those swift swims, those things that'll disrupt your speed tier and everything. Definitely play around with that Altaria utility. Altaria utility is there to play around with, and it will love you forever if you do it. Altaria, really good support Pokemon, pretty good Mega, not on my top list of Megas to use. I definitely use it more for a utility Pokemon, but I would use it for a Mega if I needed a Fairy type with that Pixelate ability. But that's all I got for Altaria. That's there's not a whole lot more to say. I kind of covered all my bases there, so thanks for tuning in, guys. Definitely give this video a like, give me a subscribe if you'd like. Facebook gonna be down. I'm on Facebook. Holy crap! Like the page. I'm on Twitter too. Tweet me. I'd probably tweet you back. I don't know. Depends on if I get the notification. But definitely tune in next time. I think that my next Buzz video is gonna be on Lipard. Yes, yeah, because I recently had a poll on like what videos you guys want to what Buzz episodes you want to see. Altaria won it out by like 1 vote. Lipard was next. So Lipard is definitely going to be the next on that list. I think Mag Cargo is after that. I have no idea. I have to go look again. But definitely be on the lookout for that Lipard video. Like I said, drop this video a like, drop me a subscribe. I truly appreciate it. I would love you guys forever. Have a good one, guys. See you next time.